What is going on, Patriots fans? This is Jace back with another Mock Draft Monday here on the Patriots Drive channel. Today, we got a surprise pick in the top two, allowing the Patriots to select a quarterback at pick 3 that most people don't think will be available. And we also got a couple pieces to fill in the holes, on the offensive side, some pass catchers, and then a couple defensive needs. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, how you'd rate this mock draft, and then, of course, turn the notification bell on so next time we post a video or go live, as soon as we do. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Thank you to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. With Underdog, you have a chance to 20 times your money in a single night. You just have to choose higher or lower for whatever player stats you want, and you have a chance to win big. Pick anywhere from 2 to 5 players by downloading their app or going to UnderdogFantasy.com. And now with their pick-up insurance, you don't even have to hit on all your picks to win the money. So what are you waiting for? Make sure you use code PATCHDRIVE today for your first deposit matched up to $100. Okay, everybody. So as we get into this mock draft, I just want to talk about a couple things. There's a lot of people that are looking at the Washington Commanders since they hired Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator and saying, does he want a mobile quarterback like Kyler Murray? That's who he drafted his first year when he was with Arizona. He took a mobile guy like that. And, he had pretty good success with him when he stayed healthy. So people are asking, do the Commanders want to take Jayden Daniels over Drake May? That's a fair question. The other thing is, do the Commanders trade up with Chicago at pick 1? And do they go Caleb Williams? And then, obviously you could see what the Bears would want to do, whether they want to go Marvin Harrison Jr. or take a quarterback. So there's a lot of questions going around. What are the Commanders going to do? No one's really tipped their hand. They're wondering, Cliff Kingsbury's had a track record with mobile quarterbacks before, so do they prioritize Jayden Daniels over Drake May? So in this mock draft, I have the Commanders taking Jayden Daniels at the 2nd overall pick, which leads the Patriots to taking Drake May at the 3rd overall pick. Now, some fans and Patriots fans are going to compare him to Mitchell Trubisky. That's not a fair comparison, guys. Drake May had offers to every school in America, and he chose North Carolina because he wanted to stay close to family and he had family ties there. He didn't choose there because it was his only offer. He chose there because it was close to family, and that's what he wanted to do. And he had a stellar career there. He is nothing like Mitchell Trubisky. He's got a bigger arm. He's bigger than him. This guy is as pro-ready in my mind as possible, and all the intangibles are there. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's got a rocket for an arm. He can layer it in there. If he needs to put good velocity on the ball to fit in tight windows, he can. He stands in there with a good stature. He's able to take some hits because of the bigger frame he has. He's also the 2nd youngest quarterback in the draft. Now, if J.J. McCarthy didn't declare, he would have been the 1st youngest. He's only 21 years old. So Caleb Williams is 22. Bo Nix, Drake May, or Bo Nix and Michael Penix are up there, 24, 25, and then Jayden Daniels is 23. So you got a 21-year-old quarterback who's played a ton of college football snaps and started. Now, he has the tape to back it up. He had a 91.5 PFF grade in 2022. That was the 3rd among college football passers, above C.J. Stroud. He was behind Bryce Young, but above Caleb Williams the year he won the Heisman. And then he had a 90.6 last year in 2023, and that was the 8th best in college football. Okay, this guy makes big-time throw after big-time throw. Down the field, he had 1,452 deep yards. That's only behind Jayden Daniels. And then he also had 7.5% of his throws were big-time throws. That was 10th in college football. Like I said, big-time throw after big-time throw. And his number 1 target, who I think is a good option for the Patriots in one of the later rounds for receiver, Devontae Walker, didn't even play the first couple games because he was suspended. So this guy was doing it in the first couple games with not his number 1 target, and he was continuing to make those type of throws. The other thing that's interesting about Drake May that a lot of people don't understand, he had 582 rushing yards this season and 9 touchdowns. Guys, he had like the 4th most scrambles in college football. He's effective with his legs because he has a bigger body. People want to say he's, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, like he has the frame of those guys and he has the big time arm that they have. Now, if he's going to turn out like them, that's waited to be seen. But in my mind, this would be a dream scenario. Jayden Daniels would be very exciting and very, very fun. But Drake May has all the intangibles and all the upside in the world for me that he could be a franchise-altering quarterback. And if he falls to pick 3, say that the Commanders do take Jayden Daniels there, this would be a home run slam dunk pick. If Caleb Williams wasn't in this draft, I honestly think Drake May would be the number 1 overall pick, no doubt about it. But Caleb Williams is there. He kind of got overshadowed, and North Carolina had a bad year this year because of the defensive struggles. So I think Drake May would be outstanding. He can throw from multiple arm slots. Like I said, he's more of a pro-style quarterback than a lot of people want to give him credit for. And I think that if you watch his film and watch some of his highlights, you'll realize, like, hey, this guy can move a lot better than most of these quarterbacks that, you're comparing him to. And he can create both ways with his feet and his arms. So moving on, let's give him a receiver. And this was a Senior Bowl guy that I just freaking loved. I felt in love with this guy, and one of my Senior Bowl videos and one of my guys to watch for Patriots fans was Ladd McConkey out of the University of Georgia, measured in at 5'11" and a half, 187 pounds. He averaged 16.1 yards per reception this year. And a lot of people are going to say, well, he's 5'11". We have Pop Douglas. We don't need another slot receiver. Ladd McConkey played 393 of his 516 snaps from the past 2 years from the X or the Z receiver spot. So this is a guy that, even though he's smaller, he has experience playing on the outside. And I really think that that's where he's going to find himself this in the NFL. And he can have success all over the field. He is a very good manipulative route runner. You saw that in the Senior Bowl. He knew how to set up guys. He knew how to make inside outside releases, how to get open. He wins with leverage. He has good run after the catch ability. He has had punt return of it experience too. So that's good. He's going to be limited because of his frame, right? If you get a good corner at press coverage, he's going to have a little bit of struggles. But I said this too in my Senior Bowl video, and I don't want to overstate it, and I don't want it to sound like I'm comparing him and going to say he's going to be like Puka Nacua. But there's at some point in the NFL, you just need to look at guys that know how to get open. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's multiple other guys that just know how to get open, and it's an uncanny knack that they have. And it was the same with Tank Dell last year. They're like, oh, he's so small, but he just gets open. Can he really do it? Well, Tank Dell dominated with CJ Stroud in Houston this year until he got hurt. So for me, taking a guy like Ladd McConkey, whoever you have at the quarterback position, it's going to make it so easy for them because he is just going to continuously be open. And then you still have Demario Douglas on the inside, and hopefully you re-sign Kendrick Bourne, and you have him too. Like, I think that Ladd McConkey could easily change the dynamic of this passing offense, not because he's going to be a huge vertical threat, but because he's going to be able to run every single route, short, intermediate to deep, and be very effective at it, and going to be an option at most times for who's ever playing quarterback for the Patriots. So I am a huge Ladd McConkey fan. I don't think the second round or pick 2 in the second round is too far or too much of a reach for him. I think he has the it factor for a receiver, and he just knows how to get open. It's kind of a cliche comparison, but like Julian, like he just knows how to get open like them. He's the quarterback's best friend over the middle of the field and on third downs. Next pick, I have the Patriots taking who was one of the biggest standouts in the college football playoff for me for Michigan. Mike Sanderstill for the University of Michigan. He's more of a nickel slot corner, but with Marcus Jones coming back from injury, Jack Jones, and most likely J.C. Jackson gone, you're probably going to have Christian Gonzalez and John Jones on the outside. And so if you want to play 4 corners, unless you really trust guys like Miles Bryant and you bring him back and stuff like that, you might need to add another slot corner with Marcus Jones. And so Mike Sanderstill has lined up all over the field too. Like he's been at safety, he's been in the box, he's been at slot corner, he's been outside. He did a lot of things for Michigan. He has really good ball skills. He's 5'10", 185, so he's a little bit undersized for corner. We'll see what his hand measurement and arm length is at the combine and see, if he meets those thresholds. Guys, this guy was second in college football with 6 interceptions. Like I said, great ball skills. He has a knack for the ball. huge motor, high energy, high effort player, a guy that Patriots fans would fall in love with, like almost kind of like Jabril Peppers was when he was at Michigan, just all over the field, everywhere. Really good IQ. He like doesn't let receivers run the route for him. He runs it for them. Like he dictates what they're going to do. And out of those 6 interceptions, guys, of the 6 interceptions he had in college football this year for Michigan, 4 of them were pick sixes. Now there were a couple guys with 7 and 6, but 4 of his 6 interceptions came or were pick sixes. Like just a guy that knows how to play the corner position. Like I talked about with Ladd McConkey, who knows how to get open. This guy knows how to be sticky in coverage. He knows how to guard defenders, and he knows how to take the ball away. And that's something that you can't teach. Like some people just know how to get the ball out and know where to be at the right time. And it's an uncanny skill that they have. And Mike Sainristil for Michigan has that for me. And I think that even though he's a little bit undersized, there would be a role for him in any defense in the NFL, especially with the Patriots. With if Gerard Mayo wants to go with the Bill Belichick route, he can disguise and do a lot of things for this defense and fill some of those holes we are going to be losing, because we did lose 2 starting caliber cornerbacks in J.C. Jackson and Jack Jones this year. Let's get another pass catcher for Drake May in this instance. Now, a lot of you guys might be asking, Jace, you haven't addressed offensive tackle. Yeah, I know I don't talk much about free agency in these mock drafts. In this mock draft, I would have the Patriots going heavy on Michael Owinu at right tackle, and then signing someone at left tackle like Jonah Williams from Cincinnati, or someone else, maybe Tyron Smith from the Cowboys, just to be a bridge guy. And I know it's not ideal, but you could just say, hey, if we're going to address the pass catching and the weapons part and the quarterback, we'll get a tackle next year, whether it's in free agency or the draft, or they continue to develop someone, which I don't know if there's anyone on the roster to develop. But that's kind of my process here. So I have them taking another pass catcher, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, both on unrestricted free agents. Same with Pharaoh Brown. So ideally, you bring back one of Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki because you don't have any tight ends on roster. And I just don't think you want to take a first or second round guy that would be pro ready like Brock Bowers or Jatavian Sanders out of Texas. But if you take Hunter Henry and then you draft Cade Stover, you're able to play him in 12 personnel stuff, still get him some reps, but then also have Hunter Henry be the main guy in 11 personnel. So I really like Cade Stover out of the Ohio State University, I should say. 6'4", 250 pounds. He had 41 receptions for 576 yards this season for Ohio State. 14 yards per reception, and he had a 60% contested catch rate. So a bigger body tight end knows how to go up, make those 50-50 balls, could be a red zone threat, depending on if you re-sign Hunter Henry or Mike Gesicki, could be, a guy that you look to ease in or, take some of the receptions in the red zone. Good frame. He's really good at playing both on the ball and off the ball. Good run blocker, explosive, really good first couple steps, either attacking the safety or linebacker and when he's running a route, or when he's trying to block a DN, dig out a 6 technique. I mentioned good flexibility. He's able to spread out in both positions and be effective in there. Pretty good, willing blocker. Like, he's going to need to improve, but that's why I think he's a 4th and 5th round tight end, is because you can develop this guy as a run blocker, and he can be really good in 12 personnel. And he already has enough skills to be a pretty decent and effective route runner. That if you can kind of round out his game, say you sign Hunter Henry for 1 or 2 more years, once he's gone, maybe this is your full-time starting tight end, and he's able to develop with a guy like Drake May. So really like Cade Stover, think he could make an impact at some point. Again, all depending on who you bring back from free agency and who the Patriots kind of want to target with the tight end position, whether it's someone else or whatever. So last pick of the draft, or this 5-round mock draft, I'm going with another Georgia receiver here. This one's a little bit of a guy that's kind of sneaking up in the draft process. So for the Senior Bowl, this guy, his name's Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint from Georgia. Okay. He measured in officially at 6'1", 205 pounds. So a little bit of a bigger bodied receiver, right? You take a guy under 6 foot in Ladd McConkey. Now you take his teammate who played on the outside. He had 34 receptions, 534 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15.7 yards per reception. Okay, this guy won 2 national championships with Georgia, when they were in their prime. Big, strong, physical receiver. Not going to have a problem with press. Really good hands. He's a big red zone threat. He needs to have a little bit better route tree. Okay. He's just not a polished route runner at every aspect right now. He's a dependable target, though. He set career highs in 2023 as a senior when Ladd McConkey was out for a couple games. Ladd McConkey only played 9 games. So it's just, I feel like this guy hasn't reached his potential yet at Georgia. And we've seen Georgia receivers who kind of underperformed, right? Because they were so dominant on defense and also so good in the run game. Guys like George Pickens, come into the NFL and dominate because they're physically better and bigger than most people. So Marcus Rosemary-Jacksaint, I think, is that prototypical X guy. Maybe you want to move on from Devontae Parker's contract, get a little bit younger and cheaper. He's bigger bodied, good on routes that he can use his body, box out, slants, post, stuff like that. He's not going to be the biggest burner in college football, or sorry, in the NFL. He's not going to just be able to continuously run by him, but he's able to use his body effectively, has good ball skills to go up and attack the ball in the air. And then he's very physical after the catch. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's hard to bring down. He really is. With that big frame he has, it's hard for smaller corners to be able to continuously take him down. So very, very, very exciting young prospect that I think is just going to climb in draft boards. We'll see what he does at the combine. Pretty dang good. I wouldn't say he was one of the best receivers at the Senior Bowl, but he definitely stood out, and that's kind of where he caught my attention. Is I'm looking for Ladd McConkey. I keep seeing Rosemary-Jacksaint out there in one-on-ones. I'm like, oh, that's Ladd McConkey. I'm like, wait, no, that's not. That's his teammate, and he kind of caught my eye. So I would like to add him to the outside. And yeah, this is a quarterback playmaker heavy first 5-round mock draft for the Patriots, and I'm not a big fan of it. Just I love the players I took here. Don't get me wrong, but I think at some point they would want to add a tackle. And again, guys, if you haven't seen my previous 8 mock drafts, or if you think I'm not going to take a tackle again, come back next week, because I have 2 tackles being taken next week, most likely. I've had tackle taken last week in the first round. I've pretty much hit on every tackle, and I'm going to be rotating through them again and talking about maybe some of my favorite guys in, both the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, and then late round guys. So I think they need to address the tackle position, because I do view that as the weakest of the free agency classes available. So it's not ideal there, but man, you had a lot of playmaking. You had a lot of potential in Ladd McConkey, Cade Stover, Marcus Rosemary-Jacksaint. He get a quarterback who I think is going to be a very, very good Justin Herbert, Josh Allen type quarterback in the NFL that's going to have a lot of success and going to be able to throw the ball 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's going to be able to run it when he wants to, because he has that bigger frame. He's able to pump the ball down the field. He just kind of got to get some weapons around him. So again, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know down below your thoughts on this draft. Give me maybe some prospects that I haven't drafted yet as I'm expanding into 6, 7-round mock drafts that you would want me to include in some of these mock drafts. And I'll look at throwing them in here if they make sense and, talking about them. And then, of course, use our code PATSDRIVE at underdogfantasy.com, or download the app so you can get your first deposit matched of $100 and, of course, support the channel. So appreciate everything, guys. Hope to see you in the next live stream we do. And until next time, talk to you later.